Hello, my friends. Hello again. My name is Kyle. And here on my channel, Pensando Inglés, I bring you real English that you can understand. And today I am going to make an intermediate level English video. I am going to speak slowly and clearly so that you can understand me. So, those of you guys who have been watching my videos for a while now, you know that when I read a new book or I learn something new, when I get some new knowledge, I like to make a video like this for you guys to, of course, help you with your English, but also to share some knowledge with you, maybe get you thinking about some new ideas, thinking about some things that might be able to make your life better in addition to learning English. So, today I have an interesting topic I'm going to speak about, and I'm really not sure. No estoy seguro. I'm really not sure what I think about it. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit, share some of my thoughts, and then I want to know what you guys think about it, okay? So, I read a book about chakras. Okay? What are chakras? Well, the word chakra is a word in a language called Sanskrit, and it means wheel. Okay? Wheel. And the thought is that chakras are energy centers, spinning, always revolving energy centers that are in different places in our body, okay? Different spots in our body. And it is thought that each one of these energy centers or chakras is responsible for different bodily and spiritual functions, okay? There are seven different chakras. So the bottom chakra is the root chakra. It is called the root chakra, and it is down all the way in your groin area by your private parts. And it is said that when this chakra is balanced and healthy, you will experience more of the following positive qualities in your life: stability, security, vitality, loyalty, prosperity, patience, tenacity, and career success. Those sound important. Okay, so the next chakra going up is just below your belly button, tu ombligo, right below your belly button. And that chakra is called the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra. And if this chakra is healthy and in balance, they say that you will experience the following positive qualities: creativity, healthy emotions, joy, healthy sexuality, fertility, and pleasure. Those also sound important. Moving up to the next chakra, this is called the solar plexus chakra, and this one is just above your belly button, And when this chakra is healthy and balanced, you will experience the following positive qualities in your life. So they say: power, energy, confidence, charisma, motivation, and mental clarity. These all sound pretty important. Next chakra, moving up. This one is right here, the heart chakra. So if your heart chakra is in balance and healthy, the people who believe in these teachings believe that you will experience the following positive qualities in your life: love, trust, gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, kindness, and healing. Once again, very important, so it sounds. Next chakra, moving up. This is in the center of your throat, and it is called the throat chakra. A healthy and balanced throat chakra is said to cause the following positive qualities in your life: authenticity, honesty, purpose, expression, being an artist, serving others, having a strong voice, and being a great communicator. And I took a test to see which one of your chakras is the most powerful. And it says that my throat chakra is my most powerful one. And I'm always speaking in this video. I speak to people from all around the world in different languages, so it kind of makes sense. Tiene sentido. Next chakra going up is right about here in the middle of your brain, and it's called the brow chakra, also known as your third eye. So if your brow chakra or your third eye is healthy and in balance, it says that you will experience the following in your life. You will be more intuitive, more insightful, more wise, more perceptive, and be more fair. Okay, those sound important as well. And the last is the crown chakra, and this one is the top of your head and outside, above your head. And if this one is healthy and in balance, it is said that you will experience the following: awareness, unity, consciousness, understanding, wisdom, grace, and bliss. Okay, these all sound very important, and it sounds like if this is true and you work on these things, and all of these are in balance, then you will have a balanced, healthy, and happy life. Okay, that sounds good, but are these things even real? Are these things even real? Is there really energy centers at different points in our body? And are we able to use certain practices to balance them and make them all healthy and functioning good, functioning well, so that we can live a better, healthier life? Is that even possible? Well, I want to share one very interesting fact, okay? So these teachings have been around for thousands and thousands of years, mainly in India. And the interesting thing is that these have been around long before we understood the anatomy and studied the body in the way that we have, in the way that we understand it today. And the interesting thing is that each one of these energy centers, it correlates with a different group of organs and glands in our body that are actually responsible for the things that it says that these chakras are responsible for. So, it's actually pretty interesting. So that lends a little bit of credibility to the science of the chakras, that each spot that they say is an energy center actually does have glands and organs in it that are responsible for making hormones that can cause the positive effects that it tells us these chakras are in charge of. So that's pretty interesting. It also tells us that there are several techniques that we can use to balance these chakras, and it tells us certain examples of things that we can do for each one. For example, it says if you want to heal and balance your root chakra, the lowest chakra, then you can use aromatherapy by smelling things that smell like nature, like trees, things like that. And you need to use certain exercises like yoga, and by listening to certain kinds of instruments, you can also balance that chakra. So, it's interesting, but is it real? Another example. For the throat chakra, best healing methods: chanting mantras. Okay, a mantra is when you repeat something over and over. And then it says other things like wear turquoise or different colored necklaces. And that's where this starts to lose me, okay? They start saying that using things like crystals and gemstones can help to balance your chakras. And I am completely in agreement that exercise, being in nature, things like the yoga, I feel like those are positive, and even music can certainly be beneficial for us. But when they start talking about energy healing with crystals and things like that, that starts to sound like brujeria or witchcraft for me, okay? Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there is some sort of healing power inside of these natural things, these natural gems or spices or things like that. Maybe there is some real healing power in there, and I am just being closed-minded. I don't know. Maybe it's true. But I do know that there is a certain meditation that I really like to do. It's called the chakra meditation. And you get into a complete meditative state, completely relaxed, and then you put your complete focus on each one of these energy centers, okay? And it is said that where your focus goes, your energy flows, okay? So when you focus on these spots, you're sending your energy, and it is healing these organs and these glands and balancing them, okay? Now, I really like this meditation because it gives you certain points to focus on, and it is easier to be focused when you are focused on a certain specific point. Now, do I think that I am healing and feeding my chakras with energy when I do this? I really don't know. But I do know that meditation is beneficial. I made a video about meditation as well. I do know for certain, in my mind, from my experience, that meditation is very, very beneficial. I just don't know if these certain points are actually energy centers in our bodies, okay? Or if it's just good to focus on your body in general and a meditative state. That I certainly believe. But it starts to get a little bit too mystical for me when we start talking about healing through crystals and burning sage and things like that, okay? So that's where this starts to lose me a little bit. So I read this book. I love spiritual things, okay? I do consider myself to be a spiritual person. I love spiritual studies. I love meditation and things like that. So it was very interesting to read about this book, and I'll continue to do the meditations and focus on these parts of my body because I do enjoy that meditation. But I don't really know how I feel about chakras as energy centers. But I do know that those organs and glands are in those certain spots, so I do think it's beneficial. I kind of think that the chakras is kind of a way that the ancient people used to describe these glands, these organs, these parts of our bodies that heal us, okay? Maybe it's like just a interesting way to describe a completely natural phenomenon, okay? For example, the way that I see a lot of things from the Bible, like talking about demons or angels, I think that demons are anything that is negative that we cannot control, mental health, terrible rage and anger. If you can't control it and it's controlling you, it can be personified as a demon, in my mind, okay? And when miraculous things happen, we call that an angel. Your guardian angel protected you, okay? I think that a lot of these things were ways that the people from a long time ago who did not have different words to describe these things, they gave them different names and described them in the way that they understood, based on their traditions, based on their religions, their beliefs. And maybe that is the same thing that is happening with the chakras, okay? But just in my opinion, the things about the crystals and things like that, that sounds a little bit too far-fetched for me, and I really don't believe in that. But I am happy that I read this book because this led me to do a little bit more research about this Eastern thinking. And I decided that I'm going to learn about something new, and I'm going to start trying something new that I think could be a good addition to my routine. And that is yoga. So I bought this book about yoga. That book talked a little bit about healing our bodies and our minds through yoga, but it was just a little bit. So I bought a book that talks about it in depth. And that's going to be the next thing that I study and learn about is yoga, and I'm going to start trying to practice it. And what's the worst that can happen? I get more flexible and more healthy. So that is my take on chakras. I'm not convinced, but I do think that it is very, very beneficial to focus meditation on our bodies. And reading that book led me on to my next interest. I'm always devouring knowledge about different topics, and for the last couple weeks I have been feeling like, well, what am I going to learn about next? I've already learned about so many things. What's my next thing that I'm going to dive into and learn about? And now I'm pretty happy with this book. I'm going to devour this book, okay? I can't wait to learn more and more about yoga, and I'm going to practice it and see if it offers any benefits to my life. and you guys know that I will be sharing with you my results. Okay? So, chakras, my thoughts are, I don't know. I don't know. Okay? But I want to hear from you guys. Okay? So tell me, what do you think down in the comments below? Do you think that there are energy centers in our body, chakras, that are actually energy wheels that are always spinning? They could be too weak or too strong, and it's important to balance them? Or is this just an ancient pseudoscience or science that is not real, and the people were just describing these organs in our bodies in the only way that they knew how? Tell me what you think below, guys. I hope that at least you got some interesting vocabulary from this video, and I hope that you are improving every day and getting closer and closer to your goals. Okay, my friends, como siempre, muchísimas gracias por ver. Nos vemos pronto.